Welcome to episode 692. LeonBlack, co-founder of Apollo, manager of over $300 billion. This is an outline of episode 692. There are three reasons we study LeonBlack. First, with a net worth of $8.3 billion, he's one of the richest private equity billionaires in the world. Second, at age 39 in 1990, he co-founded Apollo with $800 million invested by the French. Third, he has a reputation as ruthless and a much-feared investor. Let us meet LeonBlack.
Private equity is a long-term illiquid asset class. There's a reason why LPs are asked to lock up their money for 10 years. Basically, it involves a cycle. You plant seeds, you try to build value when you own a company, and then you look to maximize your exit.
He was born to very wealthy Jewish parents in Manhattan, New York, in 1951. His father, Eli Black, was a Polish immigrant and a rabbi and a very successful businessman who committed suicide in 1975 by jumping off the Pan Am building. The same year, LeonBlack earned an MBA from Harvard University. An excellent student, LeonBlack graduated from Dartmouth College, summa cum laude, with a degree in history and philosophy. From 1977 to 1990, he worked at Drexel Burnham under Michael Milken. So Burnham declared bankruptcy in 1990 under pressure from the United States government. For more on the story of Michael Milken, please watch episode 472 and episode 473 of this channel.
I spent 13 years at Drexel Burnham Lambert. Say 12 years there were spectacular, rocket ship going all over the universe, and then the last year was a disaster as the rocket crashed and burned.
In 1990, he co-founded Apollo Management with two co-workers from Drexel Burnham. All three became multi-billionaires. Here's a picture of Joshua Harris. Here's a picture of Marc Rowan, the other co-founder. Here you have three guys, a company, and no money. Next, the French rescue, Lyonnais Bank. From 1990 to 1993, the amount was $800 million.
One-stop shop that was afforded us, very luckily. Sometimes luck is as important as anything else. We had the backing of a large French bank, Credit Lyonnais, which was 90% owned by the French government. And they backed us with about $800 million of capital. About half of that their own capital in one fund, which was a managed account. And then they also helped us raise our first $400 million account for Apollo. And if you remember back in the spring of 90, the world was going through a fairly sizable recession. Originally they had wanted to have me get involved in building them an M&A platform, and I said there was no M&A. The credit markets were totally shut down at the time, but that if they would back myself and some partners, we thought there was a lot of undervalued opportunities that we could get involved in, both from a buyout, from a restructuring, from a distressed approach, as well as managing a high-yield portfolio for them. So
the French bank also helped LeonBlack enter the real estate market
and we're involved in real estate, which we also started with Credit Lyonnais back in '93. Only we've gotten a little bigger.
Next, how LeonBlack survived and thrived the 2008 financial crisis. Also earned a reputation as a ruthless investor.
Makes them different. So basically, Leon and his two partners started out as debt investors. So they did is they made all of the same bets. Apollo made all of the same bets as the other private equity firms. So they went into housing and casinos at precisely the wrong time.
Yes.
Went into those things at exactly the wrong time. But instead of sort of panicking when the markets were awry, companies were trading at distressed levels. Instead of panicking, they went in, they bought the debt at a discount and basically on the open market, and then they also did debt exchanges, which lowered the actual debt in the portfolio companies, and it provided on the open market purchases appreciation in their funds. So they actually made money. They made money in their funds, and they reduced the debt of the portfolio company.
So that was smart on their part, but it's opened them up to various legal fights, including one with Carl Icahn, right?
That's right, exactly. Well, Carl was not having it ahead of his, and he was just not happy with that situation, as most smart debt investors wouldn't be.
Right,
so he took it to court.
Icahn would have figured out right away.
Next big milestone, Apollo Capital went public in April 2011. Now, the stellar return.
Started your firm in 1990, I think.
Yes.
And in the early days of private equity, and that was relatively early, 1990, early 90s, the rates of return that people expected from very good investors like you was probably higher than today.
Well, I think we may be a little bit an outlier in two respects. One, our whole DNA has been focused on value investing. We try to buy good companies at low multiples, and that is what we've done. Our last two funds were invested at about a 6 multiple of each, when most of our peers were at 10 or 11 times. Over the last 29 years, we've been fortunate in being able to generate a 39% gross, 26% net. Now, we don't do that every single fund. That's
Back. His wife, Deborah Black, is a cancer survivor, more specifically, a survivor of melanoma. LeonBlack has generously funded cancer research and various arts.
first started, I guess, from my father, who always believed in doing things where you gave back to society. He originally had been a clergyman and believed very much that as part of being part of the human race, it was very important to give as well as to do things for oneself.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and leave your questions and comments below. My next video will be LeonBlack, 10 lessons. Wishing everyone peace and prosperity.